Welcome to the COMC Community Spotlight Show. It's, of course, brought to you by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And our guest this week is Kathy Wiesen. She runs the Lake of the Ozarks FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. We love to try to have you on at least once a year about this time, because you have your annual banquet coming up, which is a big deal in the Lake area. And when is your banquet this year?
It is Sunday, March 16th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Lodge of Four Seasons.
Okay, there you go. And how do folks get tickets if they're interested?
Well, all they have to do is contact me, and my email is kwiesen@fca.org, or our webpage, lotofca.org.
There you go. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Even I found them, online, and there you go. So the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I think most people in America have heard of this ministry, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Big name people that have gotten behind it. Tom Landry started the chapter in Dallas, and a lot of the Cowboys, Roger Staubach and whatnot, were a big part of that for many, many years. So how long has the FCA been an organization, been around?
We're celebrating our 70th anniversary this year.
Wow.
So been along a long time, and just so excited because it's gone worldwide. It started with a coach in Oklahoma who saw athletes advertising cigarettes, and he just had this thought to himself, if they can advertise for other products or cigarettes, why couldn't they use their platform to talk about Jesus? And he prayed about it. He went to some big donors and launched the ministry back in 1954.
Wow. And I think somehow, in some way, the great Branch Rickey was involved in that. Do you know the story there?
Yeah, I know. He even had to get a different car so that he could drive out there. He tried for months to get, that's back in the phone days, on the wall, tried to get an appointment, and they finally gave in and said, we'll give you 5 minutes. That ended up being like a 3-hour meeting, and that really launched the ministry.
Yeah, and once he got in with that one big guy, Branch Rickey, who was the guy that brought Jackie Robinson into baseball.
Absolutely.
And that kind of got the wheels started. Has the mission of FCA changed from 70 years ago when it started, or is it pretty much still the same?
It's pretty much the same. There is a more focus on coaches than and on discipling coaches than there used to be. The mission or the vision really is to see the world impacted by Jesus Christ through the platform of coaches and athletes, and we're still doing all kinds of strategies and ministries to try to accomplish that goal.
And it is all over the world now. There are FCA chapters in countries everywhere now.
We actually are assigned in different regions of the United States to different areas. So Ukraine and Eurasia has been our area. We've had some of our Ukraine staff here and at our banquet, so there's been great relationships with them worldwide.
Wow, and we know what an upheaval Ukraine has been in the last few years. So how about right here at the Lake? Has FCA been here at the Lake for 70 years?
It's been here for a long time. I don't know when the first chapters started. There were already huddles in schools before I came, but there never was a full-time staff. And so we've had donors that have become behind myself in our ministry and allowed us to have a full-time staff here. I've been on staff for 16 years, and that's allowed us to really grow the ministry, having a person here locally in this area.
Right, 16 years, those years have probably flown by.
They have.
Wow. It stinks when you get old because time seems to speed up, as I know firsthand. So what do you do in your FCA ministry? What does that look like? Do you have a Sunday service where people come to your church, or what do you do?
No, but our goal is to get guys and gals, athletes and coaches to be involved with their church for sure. We try to engage, equip, and empower coaches to know Jesus. And then in that way, then in their platform, then they're going to influence others for Christ as well. So I have the coaches ministry, meaning I go out to see coaches individually. We have coaches Bible studies. We try to make sure that every coach in the area that wants one gets a coach's Bible that has devotions for every day. We have a coach's weekend where we invite them for their spouses. One-on-one visits are a big part of what I do, praying for coaches, just coming alongside coaches and just helping them in their walk. It's a very challenging field, especially for families, where whether it's the male or the female are out of the home a majority of the time in their season. And it's become year-round, where coaches are committed all summer long to developing their teams. So coaches ministry, then we have huddles on any campus that wants it that are student-led. So we help those leaders And then we have our summer camps, where we have camps for kids in all different grades and all around the country for kids to go to.
Okay. And so does the National FCA office, which I think is in Kansas City.
Right across from Arrowhead.
Oh, well, there you go. Hey, no wonder the Chiefs are so blessed. So do they pay your salary, or do you have to raise your own money? How does that work?
It's 100% faith funded. And that was definitely a hesitation point for me to come on staff, because I had thought about it for a while, but I was very leery of raising funding. But we raise all the money for the ministry. Our banquet is one of our big pieces for that. We have donors, we have civic organizations, churches that come behind us and support the ministry either with a single gift for the year or on a monthly basis. But it's 100% faith-based, and we have been so blessed by all of our donors who have sustained our ministry for 16 years.
Right. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that it's not like a regular job where the FCA just cuts you a check every week. You have to go out and raise all of your own funds. If people didn't, give to your ministry, you wouldn't be able to have them in it.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so this banquet coming up, March 16th, is a pretty important deal then.
It is, and we try to have invite people that would become potentially new donors to the ministry to help add to our home team to sustain us so we can stay strong and faithful in the area for a long time to come.
Is it hard to raise money? I mean, to me, it's like sales is hard, right? To go out and say, hey, buy 40 commercials on Lake TV and, give me this much money. I have a hard time doing that. And I would guess, I don't know, might it be easier or harder when you're asking for a ministry?
It was my biggest fear, and what I realized was I was not going out to do sales. I was going out to ask people to partner with us in the ministry of spreading the gospel. And when we invite people to come alongside and they see how effective the ministry is, which that was in place before I ever started, then people are excited about that, and that's how we get them to join our home team.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it like you're serving God and you're doing the most important thing on earth, it kind of makes getting donor money easier, I would guess.
Yeah, it's just a blessing to see how people have supported it and are excited about what's happening.
Right. Okay, so this banquet you have coming up, well, let's get to that when we come back from the break, find out who your speakers are this year and everything. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Kathy Wiesen here on the COMC Community Spotlight Show. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic and 2 pediatricians with same-day appointments available. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone with 5 primary care locations conveniently located across the Ozarks. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all.
Take Lake TV with you wherever you go. Watch Lake TV on demand on YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV.
And welcome back to the COMC Community Spotlight Show. Kathy Wiesen from the Lake of the Ozarks FCA is with us. Annual banquet coming up. You do it every March, I think. This year it's on the 16th on a Sunday. You started doing that a couple years ago and it worked.
It depends on what the venue has to offer as well, but it's helpful that there's no practices, no coaches doing anything that night, so it has been a good night for us.
Right, and who are your speakers this year?
I am super excited. If you follow softball at all, Oklahoma University has won 4 national championships in a row.
Yep.
Their chaplain is Sarah Roberts, and she's had a lot to do with the culture of their team. When you watch them in post-game, and they ask them a question about the game at the World Series, they all talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an unbelievable culture. And so she will talk to us about how that culture came about. And then one of their players is Alyssa Brito, and she was on the team the last 3 years as they won championships. and she will be there as well.
Wow, and that is something special, that Oklahoma softball program. I mean, and I've never been a big softball guy, and I've started to get into it the last few years. I didn't think they were going to win last year, but somehow they figured out a way to get it done.
There's a lot of pressure, and they handled it very well.
So I've noticed, like in the college football playoffs throughout the football season, Ohio State and a ton of their players all started coming out post-game interviews talking about Jesus, about their relationship with God, Jesus, give all glory to him. It seems to be happening more now than ever before.
Tim Tebow really started some of that momentum a while back, and then there seemed to be a lull. But I will tell you that the Oklahoma softball team and their boldness, I think, has really given some permission to other teams and other coaches to speak boldly about their faith, and people aren't hiding that. And that is the most important thing in our lives. I know I love sports. I'm as competitive as anybody, but we often put that on a pedestal and make it an idol and lose focus on what's really the most important thing in our lives.
Yeah, the world wants us to separate our belief in God from everything else. You know, you take that, you put that over here. Don't bring that into everyday life. But that started to come back into everyday life lately. I mean, the coach at Boise State was just unbelievable.
And his players.
And his players were right there with him, not shy about saying it at all. And it's dripped down into the high schools. I'm doing post-game interviews now where the kids are thanking God, which I'd never remember that happening before.
It's really exciting to see.
Yeah, it really is. Does that help your ministry? Does that affect your ministry at all?
Absolutely, and we hope that FCA is helping some of those kids have a platform to be bold about their faith, because that's just the normal thing that they do as part of their school routine.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned earlier, a huge part of what the FCA does now is working with coaches. Being a coach is hard. I don't know if it's harder now than in the past, but it would seem to be, because there's so much parent involvement in not a good way. So I'm guessing you guys try to step in and help coaches in those areas.
Absolutely. The stressors that fall on a coach are unbelievable. I think people that haven't coached think a coach just walks to the sideline and they perform their game. There's 1,000 things that have happened in their day with kids, with administration, with parents, just dealing with normal coaching things, plus their own family lives and things they struggle with outside of their profession. Yeah. And so, for us to be able to walk alongside, point them to Jesus, and help that to be the anchor of their life, I think is really important. Yeah,
and I've noticed around here that a lot of the coaches, a great majority of the coaches, are involved in FCA and not in a tertiary way, in a big way.
Now, we have a lot that are, and we're excited. Again, we want to come alongside and serve them and help them to be a great witness to their students as well.
Absolutely. Do you still love your job as much as when you started way back in the day?
I do. It changes a lot. There's a lot more requirements, I think, that come along, but just when you go to the roots of it, where you walk in and you sit down with a coach or an athlete and get to talk to them about their spiritual life, it's outstanding.
Absolutely. And you talked about those huddles. Those are kid-led,
yes,
not coach-led. It's the kids that lead that. You just try to empower them, I guess?
Well, we do give them some guidelines. We give them training so that the leaders are effective. We also have a summer training, and we just walk alongside them to see if there's anything that we can do to provide resources or help them. But it literally is the students that are leading it. And in 2 of our districts, Osage and Camdenton, that is done from kindergarten all the way through the 12th grade. Wow. So you can walk into an elementary school, they usually do it once a month, and see second graders leading the huddle.
Wow, that's something to see. That's pretty cool. Okay, so your banquet, March 16th, that is a Sunday, at the Four Seasons. And again, if folks are interested in getting a ticket, where would they get the information?
It's free, so anybody can come, but they do need to make a reservation. So they can contact me through my email, or they can go to the website at lotofca.org, or our Facebook is also Loto FCA, and they can message us and we can get them more information.
Going to the dinner is free?
Yes, okay, because of our donors.
Wow, so you just have to make a reservation and get a free dinner. And that's not cheap, by the way. You guys have to pay a little bit of money for that. Okay, so it's Kathy Wiesen, the LOTO, Loto FCA, and go to their website, check them out. Thank you, Kathy, appreciate it. And thank you for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.